Heyo,
What's up, folks?
it is Danny Boy
And Bill Corpus Crispy Murphy.
on a get this Monday afternoon. This never happens. Never, ever, ever. We have never been live on a Monday afternoon. I can't say never, but it's rare that we're
It's
on.
a rare occurrence.
Yes. Um, but we're live on a Monday. We appreciate you. We love you. We thank you for joining us. Episode 418, 418. SIP right here on the YouTube channel. Please subscribe to our channel and follow our socials as always at Insanity Real on Facebook and X. Just search it. We get some good content coming your way as always, and we're glad to be here.
Yes, we are. It is a Monday afternoon. Like I said, some more scheduling snafus happened.
Yeah,
But
but glad to be free and doing it right now.
yeah, and don't worry, folks. And within the next week, we'll get back to somewhat normal.
Yeah, somewhat. Whatever
Yeah.
normal is. I don't know.
So we got
There's
a
no
good,
norms are weird, Bill, in case you haven't figured it out yet.
we got a lot to talk about today. All right, Nick fans, we gotta, we get it. We're all still in mourning right now.
Yeah.
We got, to recap a Knicks debacle. We got to preview the NBA Finals. We got to talk about the, we are going to talk about the Yankees getting smacked by the Dodgers. Not a good weekend in New York. We also got some NFL news we're going to discuss, such as the new Madden cover and the Patriots and Pride Month. So we got a lot to talk about. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. But before we get to anything, Reg, if it's okay with you, I'd like to give a very special shout out to someone.
Go for it, man.
I want to give a very special shout out to my very good friends, Katie and Ryan, who got married yesterday. And I was there this weekend to celebrate in Saratoga. It was a pleasure being there. So, Katie and Ryan, if you guys are watching, congratulations and many happy years together. So now, shall we get down to business?
So, as Bill mentioned, the season has come to the end for the Knicks, and uh, they lose big time to the Indiana Pacers in Game 6 on Saturday, and just may I add something? Like I think it's worth noting that while the Knicks did lose this game badly, they lost 125-108. Um, I don't want to take away from the fact that this was probably the best Knicks team I've seen in this century, certainly in my lifetime. As far as I can remember following basketball, Bill, this is the by far the best Knicks team I've seen. And I don't want to take away from that, but obviously, it's very disappointing because they had blown game one, which proved fatal.
Oh,
It
that
proved
was the nail in the coffin, my
like
friend.
it was pretty bad. Like, and the Knicks really didn't recover after that. They played their hearts out, don't get me wrong. A lot of these games were close, but at the end of the day, it just goes to show you when you don't win when you're supposed to, and you know don't close out games like you should, that could be a huge, huge thing. And the Pacers took advantage. They had the home advantage and they were not going to let it up in game 6 and head back to the Garden and stuff. So kudos to the Pacers. They were obviously the better team, they're the deeper team. They had a lot of players that came through in clutch moments. The Knicks didn't. And look, while the Knicks played well in the first two quarters. They're only down by four at the half. The Pacers were off and running in the second half, start the
And you
third
know
quarter.
what? That was the problem right there. You have just told me what the problem was, Reg. And that was the Knicks have been, and we've seen this. We saw this in the Detroit series. We saw this in the Boston series. You have the Knicks. You have the Knicks when they fall behind, Reg, or when when they're behind in the first half, they're willing to come back.
Yeah,
And listen, we've seen them down 20 points before and come back and win.
yeah,
But and like at this point, the Knicks were only down four.
yeah.
And I'm sure you, me, and everyone else with half a brain who was watching were sitting there thinking, okay, they're only down 4 points.
It's a massive win, given given that the Pacers can score on you a lot. And there have been quarters where the Pacers scored 40, 45 points. So to keep them at like 30 or less in the quarter is a major benefit. And the fact that the Knicks were able to keep up with the Pacers the first two quarters. They scored 24 in the first, and then the Knicks, what was it like? It was something close to 30. But like, the fact of the matter is, I'll get that number in a second. They scored 30 points in the second quarter. So the fact of the matter is, they were able to score very close to the Pacers and be down by four. Massive wins there. But then you get to the third quarter and they outscore you by 11 points. There's the difference maker right there. And the Knicks just couldn't adjust. Brunson was horrible. They only had 19 points. Uh, Cat was a non-factor. Pretty much the Knicks' big guns were not a
They
factor.
weren't. It was just a complete shutdown.
Yeah,
The Knicks showed no life.
yeah.
Like we're going into the second half. I was thinking this, I'm sure you were thinking this. Okay, we're only down by four. We've seen this Knick
But
team come back from being down by 20.
be confident.
I'm sure they could probably take this over, but you know what Indiana did? They just put their foot on the gas and didn't let up.
While the Knicks played well in the first half, they looked like a team that was not ready.
They looked like they looked more like they were lucky to just be down by
Yeah.
four.
Yeah, they look their body language
The score in
just
the first half was closer than the game
right.
actually was.
Yeah, their body language didn't show like a team that fought its way. And it's just very disappointing because Bill, you nailed it. The fact that the Knicks have had big comeback victories before, like down by four, they should be 1000% in on it and try to snatch this game away from Indy. And they just didn't do that. And very disappointing end to the season. Um, a few shout outs before we wrap up Knicks talk. Um, Shout out to Mitchell Robinson. Look, he may not be the best player in the NBA, but by far the most consistent of the Knicks out there. And he played very well. He was always grabbing rebounds. He was always great on the defensive side. He deserves his flowers. Shout out to Deuce McBride, Miles McBride. Also deserves his flowers. Um, he didn't do it as much in game six, but he consistently came out and gave the Knicks an offensive spark when they needed it. So shout out to him. Um, and I know they were used late in the playoffs, but shout out to the Knicks bench core and Landry Shamet and DeLon Wright. Again, I wish they could have been utilized a little bit more in the playoffs. I know, look, and believe me, look, I get Tibbs and why he decided not to use his bench for most of this playoffs. I totally understand that. It's not as deep as Indiana's bench, and Indiana's bench was way deeper than Nick's bench. Let's call it like it is. But shout out to DeLon Wright and Landry Shamet for giving good minutes as well. And you know, I say that to say the Knicks need to improve that bench a little more for the offseason. And that's the plan. That those are the plans moving forward. And keep your big guns. I don't want Bridges to be traded. I don't want Cat to be traded.
I want
Brunson's not
Brunson.
going anywhere, obviously. You know, keep your core players. It's okay. And then just go deeper with your bench.
No, totally agree. Totally agree. Just go deeper with the bench and don't let the and just go deep with the bench and don't let the big guys walk.
Yeah. So put a bow on the next season. Um,
And
and
listen,
don't
I'm
don't don't
gonna
don't don't fire the coach. Don't fire the coach.
nah, I think Tibbs should stay.
Yeah, he's fine.
Tibbs needs to stay.
I know look, he had a poor coaching series. He was very poor coaching this series. Let's call it like it is. But at the same time, the Knicks made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. And you want to fire a coach after you made the Eastern Conference Finals? That's a
That's
bold
not gonna
thing to
look good.
do. It never works out well. I mean, look at I was talking this to a friend of mine. You know, who's the guy? You name me the guy that is better than Tibbs right now that can help lead this team to the promised land. If you can't name me a guy off the top, then there's your answer right there. There is no guy. And sometimes keeping the core together is the best thing to do. You have to be patient. You know, this was year 5 of Tom Thibodeau. Why waste it after 5 years when you can, go a little bit longer and see if they go any further? I can see if they take a step back and maybe they lose in the first round of next season. Then that's where we got to start thinking about coaching change. But after they made these conference finals, Bill, it doesn't make any sense.
Hmm. No, I agree. I don't think right now is the time to make a whatchamacallit. I don't think right now is the time to make a coaching change.
Right.
But you know what? You got to look at it this way. Last year they made it to the semifinals. This year they made it to the conference finals. Next year,
And that's why I want to be able to see what this core can get. Go deeper with your bench, find better role players. We can make it work. We can make it work with this group right here.
so anyway, yeah, that's what. So yeah, the Knicks season comes to an end. Sorry, Knick fans. And I was watching that game in a bar in Saratoga
Mhm.
because I told you guys I had a wedding to go to this weekend and they had something the night before. And it was great to see everyone, but I'm like, have you ever had this? You have one eye on the conversation and one eye's on the television.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, Reg?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'm talking to this guy. Hey, good to see you. Come on, cat, come on. And a bunch of us were sitting there watching the game, and also we hearing about the Yankees, but we'll get to that in a little bit. But yeah, so the Knicks season ends. But hey, you know what? Knicks got nothing to be ashamed of. Anyway, let's now we got the NBA Finals. Game one is Thursday.
Thursday. Yep.
We got the Pacers versus the OKC Thunder. Bro, talk to me. What do you think?
Um, I want people to know that, and this is just so you understand. Um, the Pacers are a good team.
We saw that.
Pacers are a hungry team. Now, do I think OKC is going to win the finals? Yes. Do I think OKC can be shocked by Indiana? Yes, I do. Um, I don't know how long the series goes. I'll be pretty shocked if the series goes seven. I think it goes like six. I don't know. I honestly don't know how it's gonna go. I think it's the Thunder win. Um, I think the Thunder that they've been dominant all season, and the playoffs have shown that they've been dominant all season. And in a tough Western Conference versus a Eastern Conference where let's be honest, isn't as deep and big as the Western Conference. Western Conference is a very, very good conference. Uh, I think OKC has the upper hand. They have the better players for sure, talent-wise, but don't count out the Pacers. The Pacers are not overrated team. A lot of people call Tyrese Halliburton overrated. Crazy because he by himself made the Knicks look horrible all series. So it's gonna be an interesting series. Oh, the Thunder will win.
Wow. Nah, yeah, no, I think it's gonna be, I'll be honest with you. I think it's gonna be Thunder in six.
Okay.
What do you think?
For now, I'm gonna say Thunder in six. I reserve the right to change to seven based on how the Pacers
You
play.
know what? We will exercise that right to change to seven if needed.
Yeah.
If needed, we will change that to seven.
Yeah.
But no, like I said, we
Yeah.
saw, dude, guys, the Pacers are good.
Mm,
They're a good team. We saw that within the Knicks series. We saw they're a good team, so don't sleep on them.
yeah.
But no, I'm with Reggie on this one. I'm going to say Thunder in six, reserve the right to go to seven if needed.
Yeah.
Because I
And
don't think this is going to be as easy as people think it's going to be for OKC.
yeah, no, I mean, right now they're minus 750 favorites in the finals. And you know, again, while the Thunder seem to be the better team, and I think talent-wise they are, um, teams like the Nuggets, they've given them fits in the postseason. So it's not as crazy as it sounds to say that, the Pacers may come out and I'm not sure if it's going to be game one, but maybe a game two stunner. I could see that happening. So, keep your eyes out on that Pacers team. They're going to be much more explosive. They, like I said, great bench players and, great role players. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be an amazing series. I definitely doubt that. I
Yeah, and I
don't.
think
Go ahead. Sorry, Bill. I cut you off.
everybody's kind of pointing this out. And you know what that is?
What?
I think people are I think people are pointing out that this is between two small market
Yeah, that's
teams.
exactly what I was going to tell you. Right then and there. I
Two
don't know if
small
the NBA
market
loves that
teams.
either. These are just so for reference, the Pacers and the Thunder represent the 21st and 25th NBA markets. Uh, the NBA has 27 represents 27 media markets. Pacers are 21st, the OKC Thunder are 25th. in terms of ranked markets in the NBA space. So I don't know if the NBA loves that. I'm sure they love the competitiveness of the basketball. You're certainly going to get that, but
But you know what
oh,
everybody wants to see, though, brother.
yeah,
Everybody wants to see New York versus Los Angeles.
yeah.
Everybody
Well,
wants to see, or they want to see Boston versus who else?
well, LA versus Boston, like yeah, man,
That's like with
it's different.
baseball. What I told you last year, the MLB was praying that there wasn't going to be a Subway Series
Yeah,
because they know no one outside New York would give a rat's you know what.
right.
They wanted to see Shohei versus Judge. They wanted to see the Yankees versus the Dodgers.
Yeah.
But, and don't worry, we'll talk about that in a minute. But no, this is two small market teams. Do you think people are going to watch
I mean, real basketball
outside
fans will
Oklahoma
watch.
and Indiana?
Real basketball fans will watch. People who are casual viewers may not. And then obviously you have your fan bases. So it's going to take a hit. The ratings are going to take a hit for sure.
Okay. So NBA Finals game one is on Thursday night.
Yep. We'll certainly get back to that. That's going to be a good series.
It's going to be a good series. We also got the Stanley Cup Finals on Wednesday night. We're going to have our friends at Breakaway Bandits take care of that.
Yep.
So anyway, let's go from the hardwood to the diamond, shall we? Okay, you know what? This was a miserable weekend if you're a Yankee fan. It was a miserable weekend.
Yeah, Max Fried, some team had to get to Max Fried at some point, right? It just so happened to be the Dodgers.
You know
And
what? I've got to admit, I'm kind of not upset that it was the Dodgers. It's better that than some
yeah,
random, like if it was like the Rockies or something, I think I'd be on this air saying every word in the freaking book. And Dan, my friend, you know that is a very big book.
yeah, massive book. Um,
Huge
lot,
book.
lot of expletives.
Multiple volumes of the book.
But but yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. Look, I'm happy that it was the Dodgers only because I know the Dodgers are a good team. They're a good hitting team, and Max Fried has been great. And at some point, you need some adversity, right? So get it out of the way. If he goes on a bit of a slump, he goes on a bit of a slump, but get everything out of the way so that down the stretch, Max Fried could be the best pitcher possible for this team. So, not totally mad at that. The one thing I was mad about is the fact that the Dodgers scored 7 unanswered runs. And then that's how the game ended on Friday. I was not happy about that.
Oh, I wasn't either.
Like, you had Gonsolin, who I think is a good pitcher, but not certainly not the best pitcher on the mound. You had him, and you couldn't score a little more than 5 runs off him. That was my problem. Like, usually the Yankees, look, whenever the Yankees are usually good at responding, and they didn't respond. So I was a little more ticked off about that than Max Fried getting roughed up through 5 innings.
I agree.
Yeah. Then of course Saturday was a disaster. We're not talking about Saturday. Like,
Yeah, you know what? That game doesn't exist.
yeah,
We live in a world, Reggie, where it doesn't exist.
we could take the game and all the TVs we watched that game on and bury it 8 feet under the ground.
No, actually, no, 12 feet, not 6 feet, 12 feet.
Let's keep going.
That was
Uh,
just Warren
I,
got
I,
massacred. Warren got freaking massacred.
Like I was bad. That was bad. When your position player is giving up home runs, you've had a rough night. Very rough night.
That was just a
And the only thing I will say is I feel bad for Will Warren because he's a young guy. He's pitched very well given the where he's at in his career. Obviously, there's still things he needs to work on, but that you get roughed up really bad by the Dodgers, I do feel bad. Like I will say that, and I hope he bounces back uh, with an even better game, and we hope for the best for the rest of the season. Um, so yeah, and then of course Sunday night they salvaged the series with a win, which was nice. Good to see DJ LeMayu get 4 hits,
I
know,
know, right?
and drive-in runs. That was awesome. Um, and then um, Ben Rice with another home run. Judge had a good series. I can't complain about Judge. He's been everything and then some. Um, how about getting to Yamamoto? That was pretty shocking.
Yes.
I guess that was the highlight of the weekend. We got to Yamamoto, which is pretty cool. So, but nothing really to smile about.
Nah, it really wasn't.
No. Um,
It really wasn't anything to. But now, you know what? They salvaged the last game. And listen, I was expecting the Dodgers to take 2 out of 3. I was expecting it. But at least Saturday, this is our only mention of that. At least put up a freaking fight.
yeah, like do something, man.
You
Like,
know, because Friday you saw Shohei and Judge homer in the first inning.
right.
You saw Shohei and Judge homer in the first inning.
Yeah.
Tell you
I
that.
was very disappointed. You know, it was not necessarily the series that we come to expect and got prepped up and excited for. So, um,
That was terrible. The series was not happy, dude. Not happy.
well, we get a chance to redeem ourselves. We face the Guardians. Guardians are only 32 and 26 on the season, second place in the Central. You
The
know,
AL Central's trash.
then yeah, exactly. Um, so obviously, if I'm the Yankees, you know, shove the series loss in LA and come back at home, ready to go, come out swinging, and let's go. Let's get back on track. Bad series doesn't have to turn into a slump. One of the things that, and I'll go into deeper more when we go do Bombers banter later on this week. There are times where I don't like when the Yankees end the month badly because it usually spills into the next
Nah,
month.
I don't like that either, dude. I hate
Like
that.
we've seen that many times. We'll dive more deep into it on Bombers banter, but um, yeah, it's yeah, let's hope and pray that the start of June doesn't become a disaster.
Okay, so yeah, that's what we got for the Yankees this week.
Mhm.
And so yeah, a series that we expected, but we didn't expect it to be that bad. Come on, man.
Look, if the Yankees lost 2 out of 3 and they were all close games,
Then it
cool.
is what it is.
Okay, whatever,
Well done. It is what it is.
But two bad losses on back-to-back nights? No.
No, I don't accept that. Okay, so the Yankees lose 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
Yankees lose 2 out of 3, and yeah. So hopefully they can recover against Cleveland and we'll take it from there, right?
Yeah, let's go, baby.
All right. Now let's move. Okay. Now we got some NFL news for y'all.
Okay.
You told me the Madden 26 cover is, drum roll please.
Well, I have the screen share. I have the screen share. Hold on.
Okay, go.
Your boy, Bill. Ah.
Ugh.
Saquon Barkley. is on the cover of Madden 26. There it is doing the signature leap over the players. Ah, tremendous stuff. Barkley's reaction, starring on the cover of Madden NFL 26 and being named to the Madden NFL 99 club are both dreams come true. I'm grateful to my teammates, coaches, Eagles fans for their support, and I can't wait to hit the field again to give Madden players more highlight reel moments in Madden NFL 26. Um, do you think the Eagles have uh, a bad season because their star player is on the cover of Madden? Like it's usually the case, right? They have the Madden curse, you know.
Yeah, it could happen. I hope he doesn't get hurt, though. I really hope.
No, no, of course not. Um,
But
but
it's
no,
just
look, he was an explosive player last season for Philly,
he was.
and he deserves it.
So yeah, so Saquon is on the cover of Madden.
Yep,
Okay, now got an interesting thing here with yesterday being June 1st. It is officially now Pride Month.
yep.
And we send all our best wishes to our LGBTQ friends and family. We all love you. But there has been, okay, you know what? I feel like we always have to have this conversation. We always have this conversation in June.
Well, we have to because we're very supportive of the community.
I feel like, okay, and this dives into something bigger, so I'm going to have to ask you all to be patient here. But the Patriots caught some controversy because they put a pride, they put a pro pride thing on their X, formerly Twitter account. It said, "We celebrate together." And the Patriots put a caption showing the LGBTQ pride flag on the big screen at Gillette. And someone comment and people just unloaded on it. Some of the comments, pride is a sin. We're so sick of this. No, we don't. It is Veterans Appreciation Month. I see why Tom Brady left y'all. Disgusting. And okay, you know what? I hate when people do this every Pride Month. I hate when they do this. When they swap the Pride flag with the American flag. I hate when they do that. Some claim to have fixed the image by swapping the Pride flag for the stars and stripes. Others demanded a boycott of the Patriots, referencing the attempted right-wing cancellation of Bud Light following its partnership with trans activist Dylan Mulvaney. This is all from the Huffington Post, by the way. And, you know, I'm just gonna say, I hate when this happens every year. And I'm not talking about the colors when they post the colors. That I don't give two shits about. I don't. You want to do it? Great. You want to show support for the LGBTQ community? Awesome. But I can't stand these crybabies. People, it's 1 month. It's one freaking month they do this. It's one freaking month. Would you guys just grow the hell up?
I hate to do this on our show,
Exactly.
Bill.
What was that?
I hate to show this on our show,
Wishing
but
all the homophobes a super uncomfortable month.
I mean, I hate doing that because we should be better than this. But that's literally what you're saying right now. You know?
Yeah, it's just, and you know what? Okay, you got the image right there, Gillette Stadium when they had the flag there.
Right.
It- this is getting ridiculous. People grow up. Y'all need to grow up.
Yeah, man. Like who cares? Like Who cares, bro? Like, what are we doing?
And you know what? There are teams that are not observing Pride Month,
Right.
that are not observing Pride Month. Hold on, I'm going to pull it up for you in a second.
Look, if you wanna, if you want to show support for the LGBTQ plus community, go for it. If you don't, that's fine too. But we don't have to be inclusive to everything, but we have to show respect to those that are trying to be inclusive to communities, for marginalized communities out there. Like, and what's wrong with trying to incorporate that into sports? Sports should be a love language for everybody. Again, not everyone has to understand sports, but if you're gay or if you're trans or queer, whatever you want to call yourself, and you are a sports fan, you should be loved by the sports community. What's wrong
Well,
with that?
here are the teams that did not like post anything for Pride Month. There's 12 of them. The Saints, the Seahawks, the Cowboys, the Raiders, the Chiefs, the Titans, the Colts, the Steelers, the Browns, the Bengals, the Ravens, and Reggie's beloved New York Jets.
Which, of course, doesn't shock me, but go ahead. Yeah.
Eh, Why doesn't it shock you with the Jets?
The Johnsons, come on. The-
Here's my thing. I think maybe if Chris Johnson was in charge, maybe? Because, and I've seen this before with when the whole penalty for the kneeling thing was going on, Chris Johnson did come out and say, "Hey, if any of my players kneel and they get fined, I'll pay the fine for them." So you could tell that Chris Johnson is slightly more liberal than Woody Johnson is.
Slightly, but yeah.
But here's the thing though. Do I think for teams if they don't post the rainbow flag, do I think they're homophobic? No, I don't think they're homophobic. Maybe they just didn't realize it and they just said, okay, listen, we're not, but you gotta like look at a team like the Cowboys though. That is a very conservative area.
Right, excuse me.
I can see with teams in like conservative areas, they're probably thinking, hey, we don't want to post that because we're in a very conservative area and people are going to have our heads if we do that.
Yeah, and it's also not as important, I guess.
Like maybe they don't think, maybe the teams don't really think, oh, LGBTQ people are not important. I don't think they think that, but they're just, and maybe there are people who are thinking, you know what, we just don't want to participate in any of this political, social stuff. We just want to play football, which I can understand that position.
Yeah.
I can understand that position, Reg. You?
Yeah, look, again, it's up to the teams whether or not they want to show support for any marginalized community, obviously, let alone the LGBTQ. So, if that's what they want to do, then that it is what it is. You can't force people to support other different types of groups out there, you know, but that's them. And people just need to understand that every team is different, everyone is different, and we're allowed to support what we want to support. And we can't, as a society, we just have to respect those beliefs. Like, it's not a big deal. It's not.
And like, listen, it's like the same. It's like, in just outside sports, when you look at like companies like Target, when they have the rainbow stuff, the flag stuff out in June, people complain about that.
Yeah.
Like, and they go, well, I'm not going to shop at Target for the month of June. Okay, that's your prerogative. Don't do it. That's your
Mm.
right. But I'm so sick of people when it comes to sports, if a team says, "Hey, we support the LGBTQ community. We're gonna put our logo in the rainbow colors. And these people just have a fit about it. Like it's emasculating them or something.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't understand it. Yeah,
And I think a lot of these people, a lot of this stuff has been going on online. They're a bunch of keyboard warriors. And listen, guys, grow up. Grow up. Listen, if you personally believe, because of religion, that you personally believe being gay or being bi or being trans is wrong, if you personally believe that, okay, fine, but that's your belief.
yeah.
You don't have to be hateful towards other people.
And you don't have to be hateful towards people that choose to support those groups.
And and on the flip side, I don't think if teams don't want to observe Pride Month, then we shouldn't be sitting there and calling them
Yeah,
homophobes.
yeah,
So I think if to those who support the LGBT community, let them support it. If they don't want to do the flag, then if they don't want to put the rainbow flag on their team logo, if they don't want to observe Pride Month, then that's the team's decision. That's their right.
yeah. And that's the bigger problem is the homophobes out there that do have a problem with teams supporting Pride Month. That's the bigger problem here. The problem isn't the teams that don't support it. The problem is the teams that do support it that get hate from these people.
No, I agree.
And that's and look for those that say, we want freedom in this country. We want the right to say what it. So you support the right to say whatever you want to say or present yourself however you want to present and express yourself, then what's the problem with what the Patriots are doing?
And like
If you believe in the freedom of speech and expression. I'm sorry, Bill. I know you
And
have
like
something.
here's the bigger problem. And like here's the problem. And we've been talking about this for years. We've been talking about it when it happened with Kaepernick, when people go, I don't want politics in sports. And I say this all the time. No, you want your politics in
Exactly.
sports. You just don't want the politics that you don't agree with in sports.
Exactly.
And we've talked about this before. Harrison Butker's speech
Yeah.
at Benedictine last year, Nick Bosa putting on a MAGA hat. The
Yeah.
people who attacked Colin Kaepernick, the people who are probably having a fit over Pride Month, are defending them. And like, listen, as much as I disagreed with Harrison Butker, as much as I wasn't too thrilled about with Nick Bosa, they had a right to do it.
Yeah.
They had a right to do it.
And it was outside the realm of the sport. So
Well, Bosa, it was right after the Sunday night game. So,
fair enough.
but listen, the thing is, I hate these people who, yeah, listen, if there are genuine people who just say, listen, I just don't want politics in sports. I don't care if it's conservative politics, liberal politics, whatever. I just want to watch the game. Then, if you actually just say, yeah, I just want sports to be apolitical, I don't care if it's conservative politics, liberal politics, I want it out. Then, okay, I will have some respect for you because you're not going to be the people who are attacking Kaepernick or the teams who put the rainbow flag up, but then defending Nick Bosa or Harrison Butker. I'll give you credit for at least being consistent. And again, I defended their right to do that. But again, I'm consistent. I was fine with Kaepernick. I was fine with that. I'm with Bosa and Butker. I was fine. I'm fine with the LGBTQ stuff. But again, on the other side, should we be accusing the teams who don't do it of being homophobic? No, absolutely not.
Right.
Listen, should Roger Goodell like step in saying, "You better post your logo in rainbow colors or else"? No, Nick Bosa should not Nick Bosa, sorry, Roger Goodell. I'm sure he does this every year, saying if you want to put the rainbow, if you want to put your logo and the rainbow flags for Pride Month, you are free to do so. If you don't want to, you're free to do so. I'm sure all commissioners of multiple sports do that. If you want to light up your team's logos in the rainbow flag, you're free to do it. If not, if you don't want to, then we're not forcing you. And I think the team should be able to make that decision. And listen, again, to the people who are yelling at sports teams for lighting up their logo, y'all need to grow up. You all need to grow up. And that we and the fact is that, what, because we're acknowledging that LGBTQ people exist, is that what's making you upset? They've been around. LGBTQ people have been around since the beginning of time, whether you want to admit it or not. So I think you all need to do some soul searching, and I think you all need to stop acting like a bunch of toddlers and grow up. Yeah, I'm sorry I rant about this. This just makes me annoyed.
Well, again, it's annoying that, you know, it happens every year where, it goes outside of the social norms or the so-called social norms of America. And, we just it's stupid to just argue over it. Just let people be. Whatever. That's all I'll say about that. Um,
All right, so anything else, or I think that's it.
yeah, well, congratulations in order for both Randy Johnson and Ichiro Suzuki. Both of their number 51s will be retired by the Seattle Mariners. Um, So you'll be seeing double 51s
That's awesome.
retired next season. Obviously, Randy Johnson spent 9 seasons in Seattle, first 5 Cy Youngs with the Mariners. And then, of course, once um, Randy Johnson was traded and Ichiro Suzuki came in the early 2000s, Ichiro took number 51. Both iconic players for the Mariners franchise, and just sending all the love and good vibes over to them. So congratulations.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, congrats to Randy Johnson and Ichiro Suzuki. I always enjoyed watching them, and they're finally getting their numbers retired, and God bless them.
Yeah. By the way, I want to make a correction. The first of his 5 Cy Youngs, not the first 5 Cy Youngs. I want to make sure I get that correction for Randy Johnson. His the
Yeah.
first of his 5 Cy Youngs. So my mistake.
Yeah.
Um,
So yeah, dude, I think that's it for today.
yeah, that is it for today. Glad we can do this on a Monday. Um,
Yeah, so like I said, hopefully either end of this week or beginning of next week we'll be back to some sort of rhythm. It's just been we have lives, we have work, personal commitments.
and people to celebrate.
Yeah.
It's always a good time. Um, it's meteorological summer. I hope I said that correctly. So actual summer is right around the corner. So be sure to take your time and enjoy the baseball. Now that the Knicks are over, I'll be devoting a lot of my time to baseball season.
Yeah, we'll be doing a Bombers banter sometime this week.
Yeah, we do got to do it sometime this week. We'll let you know when.
That is an
Uh,
all-fair conversation. We'll have it.
yeah.
All right, guys. So if you like what you see, go to www.thesportssocietyNetwork.com. Check out our blogs, check out our history, check out our podcast on all platforms. And here on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell.
We appreciate you. We love you. And we thank you
Yeah.
for always joining us.
I'm Bill Corpus Crispy Murphy.
Peace and love, Danny Barrett.